Hello everyone, welcome back to Maverick Mods. This is part three, whatever part it is on door panels. Didn't quite get them done yesterday, got them done today. I'll go ahead and work on trying to get this video, put together and take a look at kind of how it turned out. Grab your popcorn. Well, we've already started. Let's keep going. I didn't think the door panels on this car were going to be this involved. It's my own fault. I could have just, popped for new, old, original style door panels, but that wouldn't fit the car. So I kind of had to do what I did because I went down that path a long time ago. Part one up there is figuring out that the old door panels were junk and coming up with an idea of how to make new ones. Part two, which came out recently, yesterday, was carrying that through, and I thought I could do it all in one video. Didn't work out that way. So this is part three, where basically I'm taking the basics for the door panel and everything's lined up and ready to go and ready to put fabric on it. So here we go. It's crunch time on the door panels. Let's see if everything that so far has kind of been a figment of my imagination and just a little weird thought in my little pea brain actually becomes a good looking door panel. Let's see where I'm at. So you saw before, I've got all my foam filled in, smoothed out. I've got my neoprene. This is actually a neoprene pad. I could have used a probably closed cell foam, but that's really hard to find around here. Actually, it's impossible to find around here. And this was laying in the shop. So what I've done with this is it's trimmed to shape, it's fit. I've got the edges beveled so that the fabric can kind of wrap, because if I was using closed cell foam, I wouldn't have to worry about that. It could kind of squish. This one won't. So edges all around are beveled. So my thought is, first off, I've got to wrap this in fabric. Next, and this is where I'm trying to decide the best way to go, I've got to do the edges. Now this fabric will wrap and cover this edge also, but I've got to carry that fabric along here, along this edge, and be able to wrap it underneath all the way around to this point where this pad is going to be wrapped separately and then secured over the top so that there's a little overlap there. And of course, the wrap on that one will come up and just basically butt up against this edge right here. So that should cover that. I've beveled down here. The fabric will continue. Actually, the fabric will continue up here along the bottom edge, around the side. I'm going to have to do just a section here on the armrest itself. That'll be last. And that fabric's got to continue up here. I'm going to leave this uncovered because this is going to wind up being underneath here. And all I've got to do at this point is figure out, when I wrap this one, do I leave this edge unwrapped and take the whole thing and wrap it around, or do I wrap this separately and put just a little strip up across here? Still working on that. Slight change of plans. I got to looking. I'll get this flipped over again here in a minute and show you. I had an issue where I've got to kind of strategically plan a seam. So I had to do the bottom portion of the door first. I'm just getting the last of it done here. I'm folding over the edge right around the the bottom of the door card here. You get this finished up, we'll get it flipped over, and you can kind of see what I was talking about. I'm using contact cement on this, mainly because of the type of material here. I kind of had to build up, multiple coats of any kind of glue, and it's just easier to do this than it would be to do spray adhesive. So let's get this flipped over and take a look at what I was talking about. So I wound up having to do, what I ran across here is down here where I transitioned to, wait, let me find it. Now my foam piece is going to fit right in here. And I've got a transition area, not along here, but right along here, that's going to transition with the fabric that comes down here. It's going to follow this groove and flip over and kind of tuck down up in here. And of course, the fabric on top of here is going to tuck under here as well. So there'll be a seam right there. But in order to get this seam on this piece that's going to cover here to fit right, I'm going to have to join it right here because there's no way I could make that transition all the way around. So I'm going to have to do a seam, and I want a top over the bottom overlapping seam. So I had to put the bottom in first. You got to looking. There's no other place along here where I could put a natural seam anywhere up along here. So I kind of had to start in this corner, bring the bottom around, and bring it back up here. All right, well, I am making progress slowly, a little bit at a time. And kind of work my fabric down just to kind of get it all where I want it to go. Make sure everything sits well. When I get to this corner here, I got to kind of work a little bit at a time to see if I can make it around this shape. If I can't, then I'll get the heat gun out, but let's see how well it does. Also going to work it down in this groove. So I've got a little bit kind of a goofy shape in here. Getting this little notch here. This is where the other cover is going to fall in here. It's going in so far, so good. I think we're pretty well good to go here. All I'm doing here is I'm taking the very edge of this. Since I put contact cement on it, it should stick to itself. Just like that. It just gives me a seam that's not just the edge of the fabric, you know what I mean? While I was off camera, I went ahead and got my little lower forward cover neoprene rubber, whatever you call it, piece. Got it covered. But one of the things I'm kind of, I guess you could say, concerned about is the longevity of something this just being glued to the door card. Probably is not a problem. You never know, but I don't know for certain. So, well, that light's just right in the way. Let's try that. There we go. So what I did, I got to thinking, okay, how is a good, effective way to secure this piece mechanically? And of course, I can't use screws, blind nuts. They're a little bit too, I guess, intrusive, invasive. Plus, once it's covered, I can't access it. So it's something that I don't have to worry about accessing afterwards. What I came up with is I got some of the, I don't know what you call these things. They're like round zip tie, whatever. These are the things that, like if you get a aftermarket transmission cooler, you slide these through the radiator, you pop this on there, and it holds everything together. So what I did was I went ahead and made a little recess and a hole, and I pre-inserted these before I covered the piece. I can then pop this into the door card itself, and I should be able to just pop the backs on, and Bob's your uncle. Let's give it a try. Let's go ahead and take our, I'm going to come up with a name for these things. I'm not sure what yet, but get it in my holes, which I pre-drilled. Well, I didn't think this through very well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this. Now I'm going to go slide under right there. Just make sure everything's right. It looks right. Okay. Not bad. Now I need to, I'm going to coat the inside of this piece with glue. And I don't see why this couldn't be permanently attached at this point. Zeroing in on the final steps, I've got to cover my back part of my armrest here, waiting for the contact cement to dry. While I'm doing that, I can go ahead and set myself up for my little, whatever you call these things, the zip tie thingies, whatever they are. Just mounting the neoprene here. Basically all I'm doing with it in place, I'm just drilling through using my zip ties and just so I can center everything. And one step I need to do while I'm at it is draw around each one of them. Like so, because I need to basically make a recess in that spot for the head of the zip tie. When I did the other neoprene piece, I did get some, I don't know what you call it, print through, bleed through, whatever you want to call it, where the zip tie thingies were, even though I did recess that one too. I'm going to see if this will work. This is a kind of a low-tech solution. This is basically shelf liner, straight from, well, you know where. I'm going to see if this will just give me just a little bit of depth, I guess you'd call it, between the fabric and the neoprene. Oh, okay, let's try it this way. That might be easier. There we go. Okay. Just so that, the head of that little thing just doesn't poke through. Hope it works. That hopefully will work for the other side. Now, I've got my fabric cut. Now, that's going to sit off the side for a minute. I should be able to, let's see, how am I going to do this? I need, well, I can just spray this, spray that, and then I'll have to flip it up, put my zip ties in, flip it upside down, secure the mat, and then I can put the fabric on. All right, got everything spray foamed. Now, I'm just going to set this in place. All I think I need to do is I need to leave more on the top than I do on the bottom, because I'm going to fold that all the way over the door panel. Just make sure I've got kind of the gaps I need everywhere, because once I set it down, it's pretty much going to be there. There you go. That should be pretty well ready. I'll go and spray the edges, the 3 edges, and go ahead and fold those over, and this will be ready to go on when the door panel is ready. It's not quite ready yet. The contact cement is not quite dry yet. Let's see if I can get this laid down. I've got all the edges pre-glued. Got to get my spiky things in their little holes. 3 and 4. Now the secret to this is just kind of wiggle it down. Hopefully those things will kind of help center it. I want to make sure my front edge and my back edge are on the edge. That looks good. There we go. I felt that pop in. Get a little pressure on it. Now I can put my little end caps on the bottom of the spiky things. All right, get a little mineral spirits. Clean a little bit of that up just to say I did. All right, now what I need to do is I need to flip this over and get this last edge tucked up under. So here we are. I got the top cap put back on. I've got my perimeter holes located. I think, well, you know, there's one last thing I need to do. There we go. All right. So let's start off by getting the wiring in. Okay, wiring is through. Door handle. Come on. I'm hung up. Oh, there we go. I'm hung up over there. Let's see where we're at on our lineup here before I get too all fired crazy. There we go. All right. You get my panel in. Let's take a look. Did a preliminary cleaning. I got a few spots yet that I still need to clean up, but other than that, that'll clean up. I think it's kind of a clean look. I'm not 100% sold on my little idea down here, but it worked out good up here. The wrap worked out really good around here. The blend, the transition is really nice. Switch panel fit. I do need to get my screw holes located for my door pull. And other than that, that's pretty much the door panel. Well, that's going to do it for this week, part two, whatever part it is. Door panel, well, I can't say door panels because I still have to repeat a lot of this for the passenger door panel, but it should go faster because now I know how to do it. But for all intents and purposes, the door panel is done. And door panels will be done. And I can press on with continuing on with the body work on the car. Certainly appreciate everybody tuning in every week. Thanks for following along with this project, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, notify, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the drill. It actually really does help me out. We'll see you guys next week. Not sure what I'll be doing next week, but I'll be doing something next week. Everybody, have a great day.